So we have our guy, A Grain of Sand, and we're watching a domination game, which is a bit different. Obviously, Convoy playing Moon Knight is slightly different to domination playing Moon Knight. You can't expect where the enemies are going to go, where they're going to come from. So he starts off with a quick secondary fire, which is the Moonblade attack, right? And what you can see is this guy's aim's already pretty decent. So even without the unks and all that kind of thing, which he used to kind of counter the dive hero right here. And you'll probably notice that a lot throughout this guy's gameplay, is that the unks are only really used when someone's right on top of him, which is a good way of keeping divers away from you. And it's probably your only real tool of keeping divers away from you, besides obviously zipping out the way with the zip line. Now, as you can see, he uses the zip line on the ground a lot to get that verticality. So not always trying to like look for somewhere to try and zip line, because that takes too much time in a game. And unless you played like a million hours of Spider-Man trying to figure out ways to kind of place where you're going to fly to, then it is a bit difficult. So as you can see here, trying to just stay out of the way of this Venom who's constantly diving all the time and just firing shots down range. Him and his team have pushed the enemy team back quite a bit. Obviously, they're pushing up right to this point here. Not sitting on the domination point, which you'll see a lot in the higher level games, which people should know by now. If you've got the enemy pinned back, tons of picks here. Got a double pick off of his unks here. Again, just trying to land some shots. They increased the bullet velocity, or the kind of the velocity of his attacks in the a couple of updates ago, I believe. But as you can see here, no one's actually shot down his unks yet, even though they're like literally right in front of them. Bit strange. Okay, now the Psylocke takes it out on the enemy team. But again, man, like he's got some really, really good picks here. Again, zipping into the ground to get that verticality, and then obviously using his glide mechanic. Again, just firing shots until obviously his unks are available to then take on either multiple enemies, or again, like I said, take out the diving people. And if enemies are clustered together, you don't really need to use an unk there. You're just trying to hit the biggest target, and then it's going to automatically track everyone that's kind of near them. Obviously, everyone should know how Moon Knight works by now, but if you didn't know, that's how it actually works, right? And what I recommend is at super long range, that's kind of when you want to use your unk as well. This Groot's kind of like AFK. I don't know if he's just not playing or what's happening here. But this enemy team is struggling to get out right now, which obviously they've pretty much capped the point more or less. Thor's made a crazy play, which people will try not to make these kind of plays. But you obviously kind of want to have a team push when you're doing these sorts of things, right? So the enemy team has managed to get onto the point now. And we've got Venom ulting, but we managed to throw down our unk again, using our melee constantly. This guy uses his melee a lot, by the way. The enemy team don't manage to cap the point in time. So if you are enjoying this video, by the way, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We're into the second round now, and we're going to see how we play on the second round. Now, I've seen a lot of Moon Knight clips online. I'm not the best Moon Knight player, but what I do notice this guy not doing is kind of holding these weird angles, right? So people tend to have really good movement tech with Moon Knight, and then hold these off angles where the enemies can't see them, and they can just keep spamming that damage behind the enemy lines. Now, obviously, that's mainly for the convoy maps, but you can also kind of do it on domination as well. What he did really well there with this ultimate is that he popped his ultimate and he sat inside the ultimate. You'll see that a lot, actually, that a lot of top Moon Knight players do that, and it essentially prevents them from kind of dying from dive players and stuff like that as well. So you kind of want to pop the ultimate on top of yourself, which I find is a really cool way of doing it. Throw in a couple of melees there, as you can see, and then zipped on to this kind of high ground piece right now. Obviously throwing in a couple of emotes, because why not? And waiting for the enemy team to kind of respawn. And a really good unk placement right there, because obviously Venom's going to stay kind of airborne for as long as he possibly can do. And we just threw the unk onto the wall, because why not, I guess. And also what's really cool about that unk placement is that if enemies are near it, they're not really going to spot it on the wall. So again, it's a good kind of placement. Not perfect, but obviously you can't be perfect with your placement once you're mid-game, right? You're not going to be able to do that anyway. You've got a Luna ult going off right now, as we always tend to do in any high-level games. There's usually Luna ults going off right, left, center. We've got also an Ultron ultimate as well, which we're trying to stay away from as well. It's kind of just us and our Venom and our Luna just holding kind of this point down. We've got our ultimate again, one more time, sitting inside the ultimate, kind of this time. We threw the unk down as well, because the unk draws people in towards the center of the ultimate or the unk itself. This Venom's got a really good dive, but again, We're using the Unk to take out his dive or counter it at least, right? And Moon Knight's quite good for that if you know how to use him well. He's not a really hard hero to use, but he does involve a little bit of skill to understand his kit fully and kind of piece it all together, right? And I've not played tons of Moon Knight. I do like playing Moon Knight. I think he's a really fun hero to play. But again, sometimes he's not super effective, right? Sometimes there's better heroes to use. So again, good Unk placement there. It's always when there's kind of like a bunch of enemies or a difficult enemy to hit, then you throw it down. Mainly like the dive guys. Again, his aim is really good. He took out the Ultron without having any sort of Unks in use there. He just kind of hit them with his attack. And obviously that's why I like the fact that they kind of buffed the velocity of it, because it just means that you're going to land those shots a bit more effectively. It's not anything to do with the damage output or anything like that, but it's just a good quality of life change on Moon Knight and just make him a little bit more effective with his base attacks, which is obviously something that you're going to be using quite a lot. Again, they've switched now to a Hulk and a Venom. Good ultimate placement here. Very, very good placement. Unfortunately, doesn't get any picks, but it is good placement to draw the enemies back. And once again, throwing in those melees as well, because at super close range, there's no point you trying to hit your shots, right? You're just really not going to get it, especially if you don't have an Unk available to you. Then you might as well just start using your melee at that point. You might as well do a little bit of damage until your cooldowns reset. And that's obviously what good players do. They kind of wait for their cooldowns to reset. Lost an Unk there in the kind of process of fighting this. Waiting for a strange portal here, and this guy took far too long to do that portal, man. I don't know why it took him so long. But as you can see here, good portal placement, because we've got our spawn behind us, which is obviously quite useful because we can just stay healed up the whole entire time whilst we're dealing our damage at range. And then obviously our tanks can kind of push up through the portal. Unfortunately, we didn't get enough timing to get actually through the portal there, so I think the enemy team's going to cap this point, which is a bit unfortunate, but we had to kind of jump through that as we seen it. So we're on our third round now, and like I said, if you enjoy these spectating videos, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We're trying to cut out all the crap that we usually have in these videos, so if you do enjoy that aspect of it as well, and you appreciate us not giving too long intros and things like that, then like I said, drop a like on this one. But again, I'm trying to learn a bit about these heroes, me personally. I like Moon Knight. He's quite fun to play. Obviously, he's not super effective all the time, and this was perfect, man. Unk placement and ultimate wiped out almost the whole entire team, or at least half of the team anyway. So I think that was really, really good ultimate and Unk placement right off the rip. And I think he had it saved up from the previous round anyway. So that was pretty good. So we've capped the point off of a really good team wipe. So that's something obviously you need to work on, is obviously when to place your ultimate with Moon Knight. And obviously you want to try and hit as many people as you can. And obviously, like I said, sit inside the ultimate, because once you put the Unk down, you're going to get some easy kills. Again, using the Unk against these kind of dive, harder to hit heroes, right? Because it's just going to make it much easier for you to kill them. Don't waste your Unks on easier targets, because you don't really need it. Work on your aim. Obviously, not everyone's going to have fantastic aim, but at least work on it, right? You want to make it at least 5 to 10% better. We've got videos on the channel on how to work on your aim with these types of heroes already. So if you want to know how to do it, then you can. Ultimate down again. I think we got a damage boost from our... No, that was the enemy team's Luna ultimate there, which we do get taken out. So we've got the enemy thing and now the Venom as well going to be diving on top of us, as you can see. Again, Unk down, melees out, more melees as well, because at super close range it's kind of hard to hit your shots, but he's trying to weave it in between. So he's getting as much DPS output as he possibly can with the melees and the Unk, and obviously doing his primary fire on top of that. But he's 50% ult charge as well right now, which is actually a good place to be. The enemy team is kind of halfway almost caught up to us now as well. We've got a Venom fight going off in the corner here. We're trying to help our Venom out a little bit, but we've got no Unk to place, which would be very useful. Our Unk is down now though, so we've got that, and we managed to get the KO on the enemy there, the Psylocke. Again, Psylocke's pretty hard to hit as well. We've got the thing here, and we've got this Venom right on top of us. Again, a couple of more melees here would be quite good. Obviously, he could place his Unk down at this point in time. There's two heroes right next, but he doesn't place it. He doesn't need to place it. He does a Moonblade. It hits both of those guys and takes them out, right? So he's saving his Unks for when he needs them. People would just ultimately spam their unks just randomly whenever they kind of feel like someone's next to them, but that's not the thing to do, right? If the target's easy to hit and you've worked on your aim, just try and hit them with your attacks, right? And use your melee because that's free damage essentially. Okay, we've capped the point now. Unk placed now because he probably realized the venom was going to fly away, to be honest. So he wanted to make sure he got as much damage as he could in. Getting damage boosted as well by our Mantis, and we're getting damage boosted constantly throughout this game actually, which is something that I think Mantis is actually great for in this game, and I hope there's more supports like that coming into the game in the future that provide damage boosts and those kind of things other than just healing, because having a damage boost in this game can be incredibly useful into winning the game as well actually. Okay, there's healing, but damage boosting is definitely something that's very, very welcome, and I kind of like that kind of play style. So again, we've got our Mantis ult going off, and then we've got Mr. Fantastic ultimate going off as well. Good ultimate placement here once again on top of the supports. That was crazy, man. They've got 2 supports on the team as well, which is... No, they've got 3 supports on the team, including the Ultron. And again, easy targets, just throwing out our combo, right? The primary secondary combo. Missed a couple of shots on Ultron there because our Iron Fist is going crazy on him, but we managed to cap the point nonetheless. There we have it. That's our player, a grain of sand, and he goes 36 and 4 with 40k damage almost as well, which I think is pretty insane, especially for Moon Knight. It's the highest damage in the entire lobby right here. Now, we did learn a bit about his ultimate placement and his unk placement and when to use his unks and ultimate together as well, which we discussed throughout this video. Also, if you enjoy these spectating videos, don't forget to subscribe, as we will be making way more when season 4 drops as well, and thank you very much for watching.